Amidst a dusty, desolate warscape stretching without cover, a small shadow in the sky began to approach. A Ukrainian FPV drone piloted with deadly precision. Its target was clear, a Russian soldier in the open, armed only with an assault rifle and a faint belief that he could evade. Knowing the danger looming, the soldier began a zigzag run, trying to break the drone pilot's aim, his assault rifle raised high, unleashing a barrage of shots at the tiny object speeding through the air. The sound of bullets echoed, debris flew, but the drone continued its unwavering advance, locking onto its target like a predator scenting its prey. In a panic, the soldier pulled the pin of a grenade and threw it into the air, hoping the explosion would halt the oncoming death. The explosion thundered, smoke billowed, but from the fog, the shadow of the FPV reappeared, accelerating faster than before. In a matter of seconds, the distance evaporated, the drone struck its target, and the explosion cut off all resistance, rendering the attempt to shoot down and destroy the threat futile. At the end of the footage, there was only the silent ground, a thin cloud of smoke, and one cold fact. No bullet or grenade could stop this FPV once it had locked onto its target. In this harsh terrain, one mistake or 1 second of delay means the end of everything. A small drone can destroy anything it sees, whether it be infantry or combat vehicles. In the annals of war, he is now just another addition to the long list of good Russians, a sarcastic term used on the front lines by Ukrainian soldiers for those who never return. On the eastern side towards Pokrovsk, there have been significant developments. The Russian forces conducted a massive push to cut off Ukrainian supply lines to Pokrovsk and starve out the defenders. However, Russians quickly got stuck in fortifications that guard the back of the Ukrainian defense line, with intense close-quarters battles breaking out. In the latest adjustment of their summer offensive, Russian forces are now concentrating their efforts on encircling Pokrovsk from the east. Despite being initially promising, the failed encirclement efforts from the west and unsuccessful infiltration attempts from the south were both successfully pushed back by Ukrainian defenders. Ukrainians improved their tactical standing, stalling further enemy momentum, which changed Russia's strategy toward targeting logistics on the western flank. But the same cannot be said for the eastern flank. After making headway there, Russian forces rapidly shifted their focus to this sector, capitalizing on their momentum to push deeper and reach the strategically vital settlement of Rodinski. Their objective is now clear: cut supply lines, threaten Pokrovsk and Mirnohrad from behind, and force the Ukrainian defense into a semi-encircled position. Rodinski has emerged as a focal point in Russia's operational plan due to its position directly behind Pokrovsk and Mirnohrad, which allows it to serve as a logistical and tactical keystone for both towns. Capturing it would open a dangerous axis of advance from the rear, collapsing supply routes and placing additional pressure on Ukrainian units holding the line. Recognizing this, Russian commanders are pouring reinforcements into the area, prioritizing the capture of the dense urban environment of Rodinski, which would offer both protection for troop concentrations and ideal conditions for the launch of drone operations. If secured, Russian drone teams positioned in Rodinski could launch strikes with ease across a 15 to 25-kilometer radius, hitting key Ukrainian staging areas and logistical hubs. If we look at the topographic map, we can see that the immediate threat could easily extend west toward Hryshiny, which sits in a lowland and would be vulnerable to attack. Additionally, this would allow the Russians to gain access to the same high ground that Pokrovsk is sitting on, and would open up attack routes directly from behind. However, for now, the main Russian effort remains squarely focused on breaking Ukrainian resistance in Rodinski. The fierce battle for the settlement has already begun, with high-intensity engagements playing out on its eastern approaches. geolocated combat footage paints a clear picture of the fighting, as in one clip, a Ukrainian Marine fires an AT-4 grenade launcher at point-blank range into an underground cellar where Russian soldiers had holed up in. After the explosion had opened up the underground area, a Vampire hexacopter was then able to drop a heavy mine from above, obliterating the Russian position. Elsewhere, the Starfall unit of the 14th Operational Brigade of Ukraine's National Guard is shown operating east of Rodinski, targeting Russian troops hiding near a mine with drone-dropped explosives to stop their advance. More particularly brutal GoPro footage captures two Ukrainian soldiers responding to signs of an enemy presence. Calm and calculated, they discover two Russian assault troops hiding in a cellar. Speaking fluent Russian, the Ukrainians momentarily confuse the intruders before eliminating them with grenades tossed inside, and the same team later clears a nearby house, eliminates the Russian soldiers inside, and seizes a captured assault rifle. Overall, Pokrovsk remains the hottest section of the front line and the focal point of Russia's summer campaign. The Russians are determined to establish a foothold in the paved neighborhoods before the fall rains make any approach on soft ground impossible, and their pivot to the east has already yielded dangerous momentum. Yet this shift is now being met with fierce Ukrainian resistance centered on Rodinski, quickly growing to be of extreme importance. Its defense is about protecting the entire Pokrovsk-Myrnorad sector from collapse, as if Rodinski falls, the door to encirclement opens. In total, this allowed the Ukrainians to accurately strike the Russian assault with conventional artillery and cluster rounds, inflicting tremendous losses and leaving no survivors. But Russian commanders launched 4 waves of assaults along this tree line over the following 40 minutes. For now, Ukrainian forces are holding, fighting from house to house, and striking back with every tool available. The battle is far from over, but the outcome in Rodinski may well decide the fate of Pokrovsk.